Goal setting and action planning. The journey to building a $100 million legacy isn't a meandering stroll. It's a meticulously charted expedition, demanding an unwavering commitment to audacious goals. Many aspiring wealth creators mistakenly believe that consistent effort alone will suffice, overlooking the fundamental truth that effort without direction is merely activity. To truly transcend the seven-figure plateau and ascend into the rarefied air of ultra-high net worth individuals, one must first define the summit with absolute clarity. This initial phase, often underestimated, serves as the bedrock upon which all subsequent strategies and actions are built, dictating the scale of your ambition and the precision of your execution. Without a compelling, deeply ingrained vision of what that $100 million truly represents, the immense challenges ahead will inevitably erode your resolve. It's about more than just a number. It's about the impact, the freedom, and the legacy that number unlocks, turning an abstract aspiration into a tangible, driving force. This foundational step ensures that every subsequent action is purposeful and aligned with your ultimate grand objective. Traditional goal-setting methodologies, while useful for incremental progress, often fall short when aiming for exponential wealth creation. The standard SMART framework, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, provides a solid foundation, but reaching the 100 million mark demands an expansion of this paradigm. Your goals must not just be achievable, they must be audaciously achievable, pushing the boundaries of what you currently perceive as possible. This requires a shift in mindset from comfortable growth to disruptive expansion, challenging conventional wisdom and embracing calculated risks. Furthermore, these goals must be strategically aligned with your overarching vision, not just isolated targets, ensuring every endeavor contributes synergistically to the ultimate objective. They represent not just financial milestones, but also significant transformations in your business models, market reach, and personal leadership capacity. The scope and scale of your ambition must match the magnitude of your desired outcome. To truly master wealth creation at this scale, we advocate for smarter goals: specific, measurable, audacious, relevant, time-bound, evaluated, and reviewed. The addition of evaluated and reviewed injects a critical layer of dynamic adaptability, acknowledging that the path to extreme wealth is rarely linear. Constant evaluation allows for real-time adjustments, preventing minor deviations from becoming catastrophic detours. Regular review sessions, weekly, monthly, quarterly, ensure that your strategies remain aligned with the evolving market landscape and your own expanding capabilities. This iterative process fosters a culture of continuous improvement, transforming your goal setting from a static declaration into a living, breathing strategic document. It is this persistent reevaluation and recalibration that distinguishes the truly successful from those who merely set ambitious targets. This dynamic approach ensures your plan remains robust and responsive. Before even articulating the first specific goal, you must vividly construct the $100 million vision in your mind's eye. This isn't just about the financial figure, it's about the tangible outcomes and the profound impact that level of wealth will afford. What kind of enterprise will you have built? What problems will you have solved? What lifestyle will you lead? What legacy will you establish? This immersive visualization creates a powerful emotional anchor, grounding your ambition in a deeply personal and compelling narrative. It moves the target from a distant, abstract concept to an immediate, visceral reality, fueling your motivation through the inevitable periods of intense challenge and doubt. This clarity of vision becomes your North Star, guide, in every strategic decision and tactical maneuver, ensuring purpose drives your pursuit. Once the grand vision is solidified, the seemingly insurmountable $100 million goal must be systematically deconstructed into a series of strategic, yet still significant milestones. Think of it as a series of progressively larger mountains you must conquer, each providing the leverage and resources for the next ascent. This might involve breaking down the total into revenue targets, market share acquisitions, enterprise valuations, or a combination thereof, spanning multiple years. Each milestone should be substantial enough to represent a genuine leap forward, demanding innovative solutions and significant effort, but not so distant that it feels unattainable. Identifying these intermediate waypoints is crucial for maintaining momentum and providing clear benchmarks of progress along the expansive journey. This structured approach makes the colossal goal digestible and actionable. Vague goals inherently lead to vague results, a luxury no serious wealth builder can afford. To illustrate, stating, "I want to grow my business," is a sentiment, not a goal. A 100 million level goal might be achieve a $100 million valuation for company X by Q4 2028 through a 3x increase in recurring revenue, expanding into 3 new international markets, and securing a strategic Series B funding round. This level of detail provides unmistakable clarity, allowing for precise resource allocation, targeted action planning, and unambiguous progress measurement. Specificity eliminates ambiguity, forcing a deeper understanding of the required inputs and expected outputs, which is vital for high-stakes ventures. It leaves no room for misinterpretation or diluted effort, driving focused execution. Setting audacious goals, however precise, is only half the equation. The real transformation occurs in the meticulous, disciplined process of action planning. This phase bridges the chasm between aspiration and achievement, translating the grand vision into a series of concrete, executable steps. Without a detailed action plan, even the most compelling goals remain mere fantasies, lacking the tactical blueprint necessary for their realization. It requires a systematic approach, breaking down each strategic milestone into smaller, manageable tasks, each with its own timeline, responsible party, and defined outcome. This granular decomposition ensures that every team member understands their role in the broader mission and how their individual efforts contribute to the overarching objective. The plan becomes the operational manual for your empire-building endeavors. A highly effective method for action planning, particularly for such monumental goals, is reverse engineering. Begin with the $100 million target and work backward, identifying all the critical prerequisites and intermediate steps that must occur for that outcome to materialize. If the goal is a $100 million valuation in 5 years, what does the business need to look like in 4 years? In 3? What revenue streams, customer acquisition numbers, or product developments are essential at each juncture? This backward-looking perspective illuminates previously unseen dependencies and potential bottlenecks, allowing for proactive strategizing and resource deployment. It transforms a daunting future into a series of achievable present-day actions, making the path forward profoundly clearer. This method provides an invaluable roadmap, ensuring no critical step is overlooked. To effectively navigate the complex journey to $100 million, a robust system of key performance indicators, KPIs, is indispensable. These aren't just vanity metrics. They are the critical data points that provide real-time insights into your progress, signaling whether you are on track or veering off course. For instance, if your goal involves scaling a SaaS business, KPIs might include monthly recurring revenue, MRR, growth, customer acquisition cost, CAC, customer lifetime value, CLTV, and churn rate. Selecting the right KPIs, those directly correlated with your strategic milestones, allows for data-driven decision-making and rapid course correction, ensuring that precious resources are always directed towards the highest impact activities. Without these vital metrics, you are essentially flying blind, hoping for the best. They are your dashboard in the cockpit of wealth creation. Achieving a $100 million valuation demands not just ambition, but also the intelligent and often aggressive allocation of resources. This encompasses financial capital, human talent, technological infrastructure, and perhaps most critically, your own focused time and energy. Action planning must explicitly detail which resources are required for each major milestone and how they will be acquired or developed. Are you underinvesting in critical growth areas? Are you overextending your team? A realistic assessment of resource needs, coupled with a strategic plan for their deployment, is paramount. This often means making difficult choices, prioritizing initiatives that offer the highest leverage, and foregoing those that offer only incremental returns. Resource optimization is a cornerstone of exponential growth. Even the most meticulously crafted action plans will encounter unforeseen obstacles. The path to extreme wealth is fraught with volatility and unexpected challenges. Therefore, robust contingency planning is not a luxury, but a necessity. What are the potential risks to each strategic milestone? What are your mitigation strategies? Having Plan B and Plan C scenarios for critical dependencies, market shifts, or competitive disruptions builds a vital layer of resilience into your entire operation. This proactive risk assessment minimizes the impact of setbacks, allowing you to pivot quickly and maintain momentum, rather than being derailed by every bump in the road. It transforms potential crises into manageable challenges, preserving your trajectory towards the ultimate goal. Preparedness is the ultimate competitive advantage. The process of goal setting and action planning is inherently iterative, not a one-time event. As you execute your plan, gather data from your KPIs, and adapt to market changes, your understanding of the landscape will deepen, and new opportunities or challenges will emerge. This necessitates a continuous cycle of review, refinement, and replanning. Treat your strategic plan as a living document, one that is regularly updated based on new information and insights. This agile approach ensures that your goals and the actions designed to achieve them remain relevant, optimized, and responsive to the dynamic environment of high-level wealth creation. Rigidity in planning is often a death knell for ambitious ventures. Embrace evolution as a constant companion. Beyond the intellectual exercise of planning, the ultimate determinant of success lies in unwavering commitment and ironclad accountability. This means not just holding yourself responsible, but also establishing robust systems for team accountability, where milestones are tracked, progress is reported, and deviations are addressed promptly. Whether through a trusted mastermind group, an executive coach, or internal leadership reviews, external accountability can provide the necessary pressure and perspective to maintain focus when self-discipline wavers. This commitment must permeate every level of your organization, fostering a culture where targets are not merely aspirational, but non-negotiable. Accountability transforms intentions into tangible results, driving consistent, high-level performance. Pursuing a $100 million goal is as much a mental game as it is a strategic one. The sheer scale of the ambition can be daunting, leading to self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and periods of intense pressure. Cultivating mental resilience, a growth mindset, and an unshakable belief in your capacity to execute is paramount. This involves actively managing your internal dialogue, celebrating small victories, learning from failures without succumbing to them, and consistently reminding yourself of the compelling vision you established at the outset. Your mindset is not just a soft skill. It is a critical asset that will either propel you forward or hold you back during the most challenging phases. Fortifying your mental landscape is as crucial as refining your business strategy. While the grand strategy defines the destination, it is the aggregation of consistent daily habits that ultimately propels you towards it. These are the micro-actions that, over time, compound into monumental achievements. This might include dedicated blocks for strategic thinking, consistent networking, continuous learning, or disciplined execution of core business tasks. Identify the high-leverage activities that directly contribute to your strategic milestones and integrate them into your daily and weekly routines. The discipline of these small, persistent efforts creates an unstoppable momentum, ensuring that progress, however incremental, is always being made. Your daily discipline is the engine of your long-term success, building an unbreakable bridge to your aspirations. No one builds a $100 million empire in isolation. Strategic networking and collaboration are not optional. They are essential accelerators for ambitious goals. Your network can provide access to capital, talent, market insights, strategic partnerships, and invaluable mentorship. Actively cultivate relationships with individuals who operate at your desired level, those who have already achieved or are actively pursuing similar objectives. These connections can open doors, provide critical feedback, and offer support when you encounter complex challenges, significantly reducing the time and resources required to reach your milestones. Leverage the wisdom and resources of others. Their success can fuel your own, creating powerful synergistic advantages. Finally, the entire goal-setting and action planning process must culminate in a tangible, written plan. This isn't just a formality, it's an act of profound commitment and clarity. A written plan provides a single source of truth, a reference point for all stakeholders, and a powerful psychological anchor. It allows for easy review, ensures alignment across teams, and provides a clear metric against which to measure progress. Whether it's a detailed strategic document or a concise one-page plan, the act of codifying your intentions transforms them from fleeting thoughts into a concrete blueprint for action. This document becomes the living constitution of your wealth-building enterprise. The journey to $100 million is dynamic, not static. Your goals, strategies, and action plans must be subjected to regular, rigorous review and adaptive adjustment cycles. This means scheduling dedicated time, perhaps quarterly or biannually, to assess overall progress against your smarter goals, analyze KPI performance, and critically evaluate the effectiveness of your current strategies. Are market conditions shifting? Are new competitive threats emerging? Are there unforeseen opportunities? This continuous loop of planning, executing, measuring, and learning ensures that you remain agile and responsive, constantly optimizing your trajectory towards your ultimate wealth creation objectives. Embrace this ongoing recalibration as a core operational principle, ensuring your compass always points true north. Time management and productivity hacks. Stepping beyond the realm of simply setting ambitious goals, the true architects of generational wealth understand that time is not merely a resource to be managed, but a finite, non-renewable asset to be leveraged with surgical precision. For those targeting the $100 mark, the conventional wisdom of working harder quickly gives way to the strategic imperative of working smarter and more impactfully. This chapter moves beyond basic organizational tips, delving into the advanced frameworks and mindsets that allow ultra-high net worth individuals to extract maximum value from every single hour, transforming their aspirations into tangible, exponential growth. It is about orchestrating your daily operations to serve your grand vision, not merely reacting to the demands of the moment, thereby distinguishing between activity and actual productivity. Mastering these productivity hacks becomes less about ticking off tasks and more about strategically deploying your most valuable resource to achieve disproportionate outcomes. The initial shift begins with a profound reevaluation of what constitutes productive activity. Many professionals, even highly successful ones, can fall into the trap of conflating busyness with progress, diligently working through their to-do lists without ever truly moving the needle on their most critical objectives. True productivity, for the aspiring ultra-wealthy, means dedicating the lion's share of their cognitive and physical energy to high-leverage activities, those unique contributions that only they can make and which yield the greatest return on investment for their ventures. This demands a ruthless prioritization process, one that filters out the merely urgent in favor of the truly important, ensuring that effort aligns directly with the strategic pillars of wealth creation. It's about consciously choosing where to allocate your finite attention and expertise to generate the most significant impact. One indispensable tool in this arsenal is the application of the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, with an almost fanatical devotion to identifying the vital few actions that drive the vast majority of results. For the 100M Playbook, this means dissecting every project, every investment, and every operational process to pinpoint the 20% of efforts that will deliver 80% or more of the desired outcomes. This isn't a casual observation. It's a deep analytical exercise requiring you to constantly question the efficacy of your current strategies and to courageously prune away anything that doesn't contribute directly to your core objectives. By focusing intensely on these high-impact levers, you dramatically amplify your output and accelerate your trajectory towards monumental financial milestones, avoiding the common pitfall of spreading resources too thinly. This disciplined approach ensures that your energy is always channeled toward maximum effect. Eliminating distractions stands as another cornerstone of advanced productivity, demanding a proactive and often aggressive stance against anything that fragments focus. The modern digital landscape, while offering unparalleled connectivity, also presents an incessant barrage of notifications, alerts, and information overload that can severely erode concentrated work periods. Implementing deep work blocks, dedicated, uninterrupted periods where you engage in cognitively demanding tasks, becomes non-negotiable for anyone aspiring to build significant wealth. This often involves creating a focus environment that is intentionally free from digital interruptions, setting clear boundaries with team members, and even adopting a digital detox philosophy during critical work windows. Protecting these sacred blocks of time is paramount, as they are the crucible in which complex problems are solved and innovative solutions are forged, driving progress that others simply cannot replicate. Beyond simply avoiding distractions, mastering your schedule requires a proactive approach to time blocking and batching similar tasks. Instead of letting your calendar dictate your day, you must become its master, strategically allocating specific, non-negotiable blocks for your highest priority activities. This means dedicating distinct periods for strategic planning, client acquisition, investment research, or deep creative work, treating these appointments with the same reverence as you would a high-stakes board meeting. Furthermore, batching similar tasks, such as responding to emails, making calls, or reviewing documents, into designated time slots minimizes context switching, which is a notorious drain on cognitive energy and overall efficiency. This intentional structuring of your day ensures that your most valuable mental resources are consistently applied to tasks that genuinely propel your wealth-building agenda forward, rather than being squandered on fragmented reactive responses. For the ultra-successful, delegation transcends merely offloading mundane tasks. It evolves into a sophisticated strategy for leveraging specialized expertise and multiplying one's effective output. This means identifying not just what can be delegated, but what should be delegated to individuals or teams whose core competency lies precisely in those areas. It's about building a robust support ecosystem, whether through internal teams, expert consultants, or virtual assistants, that allows you to remain exclusively focused on your unique, high-leverage contributions. The true art of delegation involves entrusting not just tasks, but entire outcomes, empowering others to take ownership and deliver results while freeing your mental bandwidth for strategic oversight and visionary leadership. This strategic offloading is a critical accelerator for scaling operations and expanding your reach exponentially, moving beyond the limitations of your own individual capacity. Crucially, productivity isn't solely about time management. It's intricately linked to energy management, recognizing that your cognitive and physical states profoundly impact your output quality. Understanding your personal chronotype and identifying your peak performance hours allows you to schedule your most demanding intellectual work when your brain is naturally most alert and focused. Conversely, reserving less taxing activities for periods of lower energy prevents burnout and ensures sustained high performance throughout your day and week. Integrating strategic breaks, mindful movement, proper nutrition, and adequate sleep are not luxuries, but fundamental components of a high-performance regimen. By optimizing your biological rhythms and maintaining peak vitality, you ensure that the time you do spend working is of the highest possible quality, generating superior results with less overall strain. The power of no becomes an exceptionally potent productivity hack for those navigating the demands of high-level wealth creation. Saying no, politely but firmly, to opportunities, requests, and commitments that do not directly align with your strategic objectives or contribute to your personal and professional growth is essential for protecting your most valuable resource, your time and focus. This requires a clear understanding of your priorities and the courage to decline invitations, projects, or collaborations that, while potentially appealing, would ultimately divert energy from your core mission. Each no to something misaligned is a yes to your overarching goals, reinforcing your commitment to deliberate action and preventing the insidious creep of obligations that dilute your impact. This strategic boundary setting is a hallmark of truly effective leaders and wealth builders, safeguarding their capacity for truly meaningful work. Regularly reviewing and refining your time management and productivity systems is not an optional add-on, but an embedded practice for continuous improvement. The landscape of your business, market conditions, and personal priorities are constantly evolving, demanding that your approach to managing your time evolves with them. This involves conducting weekly or bi-weekly audits of your calendar, task lists, and output to identify bottlenecks, inefficiencies, and areas where your focus might have drifted. Asking critical questions. Where did I spend my most valuable time? What generated the highest ROI? What distractions crept in? Allows for iterative adjustments and optimizations. This meta-level analysis ensures that your productivity hacks remain sharp, relevant, and maximally effective, serving as a dynamic feedback loop that continually hones your approach to wealth creation. Leveraging technology intelligently transforms from a simple convenience into a strategic imperative for amplifying productivity. Beyond merely using email or spreadsheets, the ultra-wealthy employ sophisticated automation tools, project management software, and CRM systems to streamline repetitive processes, manage complex workflows, and maintain a panoramic view of their operations. The goal is to automate anything that can be automated, thereby freeing up human capital for tasks requiring creativity, strategic thinking, and complex problem solving. This isn't about adopting every new gadget, but rather meticulously selecting and integrating technologies that genuinely reduce friction, enhance collaboration, and provide actionable insights, effectively turning technology into an extension of your own capacity and a force multiplier for your efforts. For sustained high performance, the deliberate integration of strategic breaks and periods of recovery is not a luxury, but an absolute necessity. The relentless pursuit of monumental goals can lead to burnout if not balanced with intentional downtime that allows for mental and physical rejuvenation. This means scheduling short, focused breaks throughout the workday to disconnect and recharge, as well as ensuring ample time for hobbies, family, and deep relaxation outside of work hours. Leaders who achieve and maintain ultra-high net worth understand that true productivity is a marathon, not a sprint, and that consistent, high-quality output depends on a well-rested and mentally agile mind. Prioritizing restoration safeguards against decision fatigue and cognitive overload, ensuring you return to your work with renewed vigor and sharper focus, ultimately enhancing the quality of your strategic output. Adopting a proactive scheduling mindset is another critical distinction, moving away from a reactive stance where your calendar is dictated by external requests and unforeseen events. This involves meticulously planning your week in advance, often on a Sunday evening or Monday morning, to map out your highest priority tasks and allocate dedicated time blocks for them before the week begins. By front-loading your schedule with intentional decisions about where your time will be spent, you create a robust framework that is less susceptible to disruption and more aligned with your strategic objectives. This foresight allows you to control your narrative, ensuring that your days are spent building toward your vision, rather than merely responding to the immediate demands of others or the market, thereby securing your time as a strategic asset. Measuring productivity effectively goes far beyond tracking hours worked. It shifts the focus entirely to output and impact, a metric crucial for understanding true progress towards $100 million. The question isn't how many hours you logged, but rather what significant outcomes were achieved and what tangible value was created during that time. This requires defining clear, measurable key performance indicators, KPIs, for your high-leverage activities and regularly assessing your performance against these benchmarks. By concentrating on results rather than mere activity, you cultivate a culture of accountability and efficiency, driving continuous improvement in how you allocate your resources and execute your strategies. This outcome-oriented perspective ensures that every effort directly contributes to your overarching wealth creation objectives, fostering a powerful feedback loop for strategic refinement. Finally, embedding routines and rituals into your daily and weekly rhythm serves as a powerful, almost subconscious mechanism for consistent high performance. These are no rigid schedules, but rather carefully curated habits that automate positive behaviors and minimize decision fatigue, freeing up mental energy for more complex challenges. Whether it's a morning routine that sets a productive tone for the day, a weekly review process, or a specific method for transitioning between different types of work, these rituals create structure and predictability. By consciously designing and adhering to these personalized systems, you build a resilient foundation for sustained productivity, ensuring that your most critical actions are executed with unwavering consistency, propelling you steadily towards your most ambitious financial goals. Ultimately, the cost of inefficiency for those aiming for ultra high net worth is not just lost time, but significantly diminished opportunity and deferred wealth. Every hour squandered on low value tasks, every moment lost to distraction, represents a tangible erosion of potential earnings and a delay in achieving your generational aspirations. The disciplined application of these time management and productivity hacks is not merely about personal organization. It is a direct investment in your financial future, a strategic imperative that separates the ambitious from the truly accomplished. By meticulously optimizing how you engage with your time, you transform it into your most powerful accelerator, turning the $100 playbook into a living, breathing blueprint for extraordinary wealth creation. Building and leading high-performing teams. The journey to $100M is rarely a solitary endeavor. Indeed, it's virtually impossible to reach such stratospheric financial plateaus purely through individual effort, no matter how brilliant or industrious one might be. True wealth creation at this scale necessitates the amplification of impact that only a meticulously constructed and expertly led team can provide. Moving beyond the constraints of personal bandwidth, the astute architect of wealth recognizes that their most potent leverage lies in assembling a collective of exceptional minds and capabilities, each contributing synergistically to a grander vision. This isn't merely about hiring employees. It's about curating a formidable alliance, a force multiplier designed to execute complex strategies, innovate relentlessly, and navigate the intricate challenges inherent in exponential growth. Understanding this fundamental shift from individual contributor to orchestrator of talent is the first critical step in scaling your ambitions beyond the conventional limits of a one-person enterprise. Many organizations boast teams, yet few truly cultivate high-performing units capable of delivering consistent, outsized results. The distinction is crucial. A mere collection of individuals working in proximity does not constitute a high-performing team. It is often a group burdened by misaligned objectives and fragmented efforts. A high-performing team, by contrast, is characterized by an unwavering shared commitment to a singular, ambitious objective, where each member not only understands their distinct role, but also deeply appreciates how their contributions interlock with those of their peers. This collective clarity fosters an environment where individual strengths are maximized, weaknesses are mitigated through complementary skills, and a palpable sense of shared destiny drives every action. It is this intentional design and cultivation, rather than accidental assembly, that transforms a group into an unstoppable engine of progress. At the heart of any truly exceptional team lies a bedrock of non-negotiable elements that transcend mere operational efficiency. Paramount among these is a crystal-clear, compelling vision that inspires and unifies, translating the grand strategic objective into a tangible purpose that resonates deeply with every member. This vision must then be meticulously cascaded into precise, measurable goals, ensuring that every individual understands their EFIC contribution to the overarching mission. Beyond this strategic alignment, the intangible yet indispensable pillar of trust must be meticulously built and vigilantly maintained. It is the lubricant that allows candid communication, constructive conflict, and mutual support to flourish, without fear of reprisal. Concurrently, a robust framework of accountability, both individual and collective, ensures that commitments are honored, performance is consistently evaluated, and a shared responsibility for outcomes is deeply ingrained within the team's DNA. The efficacy of a high-performing team is also profoundly shaped by its composition, specifically the strategic amalgamation of diverse, complementary skill sets that cover the full spectrum of operational and strategic demands. Rather than seeking clones, the astute leader actively recruits individuals who bring varied perspectives, expertise, and problem-solving approaches, creating a rich tapestry of capabilities that can tackle multifaceted challenges from multiple angles. Equally vital is the cultivation of psychological safety, an environment where team members feel secure enough to voice dissenting opinions, admit mistakes, ask naive questions, and take calculated risks without fear of humiliation or punishment. This foundational safety net encourages intellectual curiosity, fosters continuous learning, and unleashes the full creative potential of the team, transforming potential setbacks into invaluable learning opportunities for collective advancement. The leader's role in forging and sustaining such a team extends far beyond traditional management. It is a multifaceted act of visionary leadership, strategic orchestration, and relentless cultural stewardship. Primarily, the leader serves as the chief vision caster, articulating the why with such clarity and conviction that it becomes an internalized beacon for every team member, guiding their efforts and inspiring their dedication. Beyond vision, the leader is the primary architect of the team's culture, meticulously shaping the norms, values, and behaviors that define how the team interacts, collaborates, and performs. This involves setting an unwavering example, rewarding desired behaviors, and swiftly addressing any deviations that might erode the foundational principles of trust, accountability, and excellence. It is a continuous, proactive endeavor to ensure the team's ethos remains aligned with its ambitious objectives. Effective leadership of a high-performing team demands a profound understanding of strategic delegation and the art of true empowerment, moving decisively beyond micromanagement. This involves entrusting critical responsibilities to team members, not just tasks, but entire outcomes, providing them with the autonomy and resources necessary to achieve them. The leader's focus shifts from how to what, clearly defining the desired results, and then empowering the team to determine the most effective path to get there. Such empowerment signals profound trust, fostering a deep sense of ownership and responsibility within the team, which in turn unleashes innovative solutions and accelerates decision-making. It transforms team members from mere executors into proactive problem solvers and strategic partners, driving engagement and cultivating future leaders within the organization. The very genesis of a high-performing team hinges on an uncompromising approach to talent identification and recruitment, a process that must be as rigorous as any investment due diligence. This goes far beyond merely filling a job description. It involves a sophisticated assessment of not only an individual's technical prowess and experience, but more critically, their cultural fit, intrinsic drive, and capacity for growth within a dynamic, high-stakes environment. Leaders must become adept at discerning potential beyond polished resumes, actively seeking out individuals who demonstrate intellectual curiosity, resilience, a collaborative spirit, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Recognizing that a single mishire can disproportionately derail team momentum, the recruitment process becomes an intensive, multi-layered filtration system designed to onboard only those who will elevate the collective standard and propel the team towards its ambitious goals. Once exceptional talent is onboarded, the leader's responsibility pivots towards fostering an environment of continuous learning and professional development, recognizing that stagnation is antithetical to high performance. This involves actively identifying growth opportunities, providing access to mentorship, advanced training, and challenging projects that stretch individual capabilities beyond their current comfort zones. High performers are intrinsically motivated by personal and professional advancement, and a leader who consistently invests in their team's intellectual capital not only retains top talent, but also cultivates a deeper reservoir of expertise and leadership capacity within the organization. This commitment to growth signals that the team is not just a means to an end, but a living, evolving entity where individual aspirations are meticulously aligned with the collective ascent towards unprecedented success. Cultivating a genuine culture of ownership and an unyielding commitment to excellence is perhaps the most profound impact a leader can have on a high-performing team. This culture transcends mere compliance. It instills a deep-seated belief that every team member is personally invested in the success of the entire enterprise, taking initiative and accountability as if it were their own venture. Excellence, in this context, is not merely a goal, but a non-negotiable standard, a relentless pursuit of improvement in every facet of operations and strategy. Leaders achieve this by celebrating successes, learning from failures without blame, and consistently reinforcing the values that underpin this ethos, creating an environment where good enough is never truly sufficient, and the pursuit of mastery is the default mode of operation. In the pursuit of exponential growth, objective measurement of team and individual performance is not a punitive exercise, but an indispensable mechanism for clarity, improvement, and strategic realignment. High-performing teams thrive on transparent metrics that clearly define success and illuminate areas requiring immediate attention, moving beyond vague objectives to quantifiable outcomes that are regularly tracked and reviewed. Crucially, this data-driven approach must be coupled with a culture of candid, constructive feedback, delivered with empathy and a singular focus on growth. Regular, specific feedback loops, both formal and informal, empower team members to understand their impact, adjust their approaches, and continuously refine their contributions, ensuring that the team remains agile and responsive to the dynamic demands of achieving ultra-high net worth objectives. As an organization scales towards the $100 million benchmark, the challenge of building high-performing teams evolves from curating individual units to strategically expanding and integrating multiple teams without diluting effectiveness. This demands a robust organizational structure that facilitates seamless cross-functional collaboration, clear communication channels, and a standardized yet adaptable framework for leadership development. The leader must proactively anticipate growth, designing systems and processes that can accommodate increased complexity while simultaneously preserving the core values and high-performance culture that defined the initial success. It's about building a scalable leadership pipeline and empowering sub-leaders to replicate the foundational principles of team excellence, ensuring that growth is not just quantitative but also qualitative, maintaining peak performance across an expanding enterprise. Ultimately, the mark of an exceptio, now leader in the $100 journey, is the capacity to build a team so capable, so aligned, and so self-sufficient that they can effectively let go of day-to-day operational minutiae. This isn't abdication. It is the ultimate act of strategic leadership, freeing the principal to focus on overarching vision, macro-level strategy, and identifying the next frontiers of wealth creation. It requires profound trust in the team's judgment, their commitment, and their ability to execute autonomously. By empowering the team to truly own their domains, the leader transforms from a central bottleneck into a strategic enabler, multiplying their impact exponentially and creating an organization that not only performs at the highest level but also possesses the resilience and dynamism to adapt and thrive in an ever-evolving landscape. The culmination of meticulously building and expertly leading high-performing teams is the creation of a self-sustaining, high-impact engine that operates with remarkable efficiency and strategic foresight, even in the leader's absence. This is the ultimate objective for any aspiring $100 wealth creator: to construct an enterprise that possesses an inherent momentum, driven by empowered individuals who are deeply invested in its success. Such an organization transcends the limitations of its founder, becoming a formidable entity capable of generating consistent, exponential value, continually adapting, innovating, and expanding its influence. It is this enduring legacy of a well-oiled, human-powered machine that truly underpins the achievement of generational wealth and allows the visionary leader to focus on the grander strategic canvas, knowing the operational engine is not just running, but thriving. Effective decision-making under pressure. Navigating the unpredictable currents of high-stakes wealth creation inevitably brings moments where critical decisions must be forged under immense pressure. These are not merely challenging situations. They are crucible moments, defining whether an enterprise accelerates towards its $100 million valuation or falters amidst the storm. The ability to maintain clarity, assess rapidly, and act decisively when the stakes are highest differentiates mere success from truly extraordinary achievement. It demands a sophisticated blend of cognitive discipline, emotional intelligence, and strategic foresight, extending far beyond simplistic gut feelings. Mastering this skill is non-negotiable for those aspiring to generational wealth, as the margin for error shrinks significantly at the upper echelons of financial endeavor. Therefore, developing a robust framework for high-pressure decision-making becomes a cornerstone of your playbook. This section will dissect the elements of effective decision-making, transforming it from an art into a repeatable science. Understanding the psychological underpinnings of stress responses is the first step toward overcoming them. True mastery lies in a proactive approach rather than a reactive one. The physiological response to pressure, often colloquially termed fight, flight, or freeze, can profoundly compromise executive function, clouding judgment and narrowing perspective. Under duress, the amygdala, our brain's ancient alarm system, can hijack the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logical reasoning and complex problem solving. This neurological override leads to a reduced capacity for abstract thought, long-term planning, and objective risk assessment, precisely when these faculties are most needed. Recognizing these inherent biases and physiological limitations is crucial. Awareness alone can provide a critical buffer against impulsivity. Effective leaders learn to identify the onset of these primal responses within themselves and their teams, employing deliberate techniques to re-engage higher cognitive functions. It's about creating a mental space where rational thought can prevail, even as external circumstances scream for an immediate, often suboptimal, reaction. Cultivating this self-awareness is an ongoing practice, demanding introspection and consistent application of mental discipline. The goal is not to eliminate pressure, but to transcend its debilitating effects. Cultivating a calm, analytical approach amidst chaos begins with structured information gathering, even when time is a luxury you don't possess. Rapidly discerning signal from noise is paramount, focusing intensely on the critical variables that genuinely influence the outcome. This involves asking precise, incisive questions that cut through ambiguity and extraneous data. What are the undeniable facts? What assumptions are we making? What are the immediate and secondary consequences of each potential path? A methodical, almost detached analysis allows you to sidestep the emotional traps that often accompany high-pressure scenarios. This analytical rigor is a muscle strengthened through deliberate practice and continuous exposure to complex, time-sensitive problems. It requires a commitment to intellectual honesty, challenging your own preconceived notions and biases. The ability to synthesize vast amounts of information quickly and accurately distinguishes the truly effective decision maker. It's about building a mental architecture capable of processing complexity under constraints. Prioritization under duress is not merely about identifying what's important, but ruthlessly eliminating what isn't, focusing on the few levers that will yield the greatest impact. In high-pressure situations, every decision carries weight, but not all decisions carry equal strategic value. A clear understanding of your overarching objectives, the $100 million vision, serves as your immutable compass, guiding your choices toward alignment with your ultimate goals. This often means deferring or delegating lower-impact decisions, conserving your cognitive energy for the truly pivotal choices. It's a strategic allocation of mental resources, ensuring that your most valuable asset, your attention and judgment, is deployed where it can create the most significant leverage. This disciplined filtering process prevents decision paralysis, a common pitfall when faced with an overwhelming array of options. Establishing clear criteria for urgency and impact before the crisis hits is invaluable. This proactive preparation empowers you to act with precision rather than broad strokes. Every high-stakes decision inherently carries an element of risk, and effective leaders excel at assessing and mitigating these exposures, even under severe time constraints. This involves not just identifying potential downsides, but also quantifying their likelihood and impact with as much precision as possible. What are the worst-case scenarios for each option, and crucially, what are the contingency plans for those eventualities? A robust risk mitigation strategy isn't about avoiding risk entirely, which is often impossible and undesirable in wealth creation, but about intelligently managing it. It means developing if-then playbooks that can be activated swiftly, reducing the need for on-the-spot improvisation when resources are stretched thin. This proactive approach transforms potential liabilities into manageable components, allowing for a more confident and calculated move forward. Understanding your risk tolerance and that of your organization is foundational to this process. It's about making informed bets, not reckless gambles. The interplay between intuition and data presents a nuanced challenge in high-pressure decision-making. While empirical data provides a rational foundation, the The sheer speed and complexity of some situations demand an integration of gut feeling, honed through years of experience. Intuition, in this context, is not mystical. It's a sophisticated form of pattern recognition where your subconscious mind rapidly synthesizes vast amounts of past information and experiences to suggest a course of action. However, relying solely on intuition without corroborating data can be perilous, leading to cognitive biases and confirmation traps. The most effective approach involves using data to inform and validate intuition, and conversely, using intuition to highlight areas where data might be incomplete or misleading. It's a dynamic interplay where each informs and refines the other, leading to a more holistic and robust decision. Trusting your informed intuition, when backed by a reasoned analysis, is a hallmark of seasoned leadership. This synergistic approach allows for both speed and accuracy. Experience serves as an invaluable asset, providing a deep reservoir of past scenarios and outcomes that can be rapidly referenced during a crisis. Pattern recognition, developed through countless trials and errors, allows seasoned decision-makers to quickly categorize a novel situation and apply previously successful frameworks. This isn't about blindly repeating past actions, but understanding the underlying principles that led to success or failure in analogous circumstances. The more diverse and challenging your past experiences, the richer your internal database for rapid assessment becomes. This accumulated wisdom enables a quick scan of the environment, identifying familiar cues and potential traps that might elude a less experienced eye. Investing in personal development, seeking out diverse challenges, and engaging in continuous learning are all ways to build this critical experiential foundation. Your personal history of overcoming adversity becomes a powerful tool in your present arsenal. Developing a pre-mortem mindset is a powerful technique to proactively identify and mitigate potential pitfalls before they manifest. Instead of waiting for a decision to fail and then conducting a post-mortem analysis, imagine that your chosen course of action has already catastrophically failed. Then work backward to identify all the plausible reasons why that failure occurred. This exercise forces you to critically examine assumptions, uncover hidden risks, and anticipate unforeseen obstacles that might otherwise be overlooked in the optimism of the moment. By mentally failing forward, you can implement preventative measures, build in redundancies, and refine your strategy to make it more resilient. This proactive risk identification transforms reactive problem solving into strategic foresight, significantly enhancing the robustness of your decisions. It's a disciplined intellectual exercise that pays dividends by averting costly mistakes. This method encourages a healthy skepticism and a thorough exploration of downside scenarios. No leader operates in a vacuum, and the most astute decision-makers leverage the power of a strong support system or advisory board, particularly when under pressure. These trusted confidants offer diverse perspectives, challenge assumptions, and provide a vital sounding board, often seeing blind spots that you, immersed in the problem, might miss. They bring a breadth of experience and a dispassionate viewpoint that can be invaluable in clarifying complex situations. The key is to cultivate relationships with individuals who possess complementary expertise and are not afraid to offer candid, even uncomfortable, feedback. This isn't about abdicating responsibility for the decision, but about enriching the decision-making process with collective intelligence. A well-curated network of advisors acts as an external processing unit, providing additional cognitive horsepower when your own is stretched thin. Such collaboration strengthens the final decision, imbuing it with greater resilience. It transforms solo burden into shared wisdom. In high-performing teams, effective decision-making under pressure often hinges on strategically decentralized authority. Empowering competent team members to make autonomous decisions within their defined domains, rather than funneling every micro-decision up the chain, dramatically increases organizational agility and responsiveness. This requires a foundation of clear objectives, robust communication channels, and a high degree of trust. When a crisis hits, the ability for individuals closer to the information and the problem to act swiftly can be the difference between recovery and catastrophe. However, this decentralization must be balanced with clear escalation protocols for decisions that impact overarching strategy or carry significant organizational risk. It's about distributing decision-making power intelligently, ensuring that the right decisions are made at the right level with the appropriate speed and oversight. This fosters a culture of ownership and rapid iteration. Such a structure allows for parallel processing of problems, accelerating resolution. Maintaining a long-term vision amidst the maelstrom of short-term crises is a defining characteristic of exceptional leadership. The immediate pressure can create tunnel vision, tempting leaders to make expedient decisions that compromise future strategic positioning. However, true wealth creation, especially towards the $100 million mark, demands an unwavering commitment to enduring principles and growth trajectories. Every decision, no matter how urgent, must be filtered through the lens of its impact on your ultimate objectives. This requires a strong internal compass, a deep understanding of your core values, and the courage to resist short-term gains that derail long-term aspirations. It's about making choices that serve the legacy you are building, not just extinguishing the immediate fire. Leaders who consistently tie their tactical responses back to their strategic vision are the ones who build resilient, enduring empires. This perspective ensures that crisis management contributes to, rather than detracts from, your grand strategy. Once a decision has been executed, the work isn't over. Rigorous post-decision analysis is crucial for continuous improvement and refining your decision-making faculty. This involves objectively evaluating the outcome against the initial objectives, identifying what worked, what didn't, and most importantly, why. Was the information gathered sufficient? Were the assumptions accurate? Did the risk mitigation strategies perform as expected? This isn't about assigning blame, but about extracting valuable lessons that can inform future choices. Documenting these insights, creating a knowledge base of lessons learned, transforms individual experiences into organizational wisdom. This iterative process of decide, act, analyze, learn builds a powerful feedback loop, progressively honing your ability to navigate future pressures with greater efficacy and confidence. It ensures that every challenge, regardless of its outcome, contributes to your growth as a leader. This systematic reflection is where true mastery begins. Cultivating resilience and mental fortitude is not merely a desirable trait, but an essential prerequisite for effective decision-making under sustained pressure. The journey to the $100 Playbook is fraught with setbacks, unexpected challenges, and moments of intense uncertainty that can test even the most seasoned entrepreneur. Resilience is the capacity to bounce back from these adversities, learning from them without being emotionally crippled. Mental fortitude, on the other hand, is the inner strength to persevere, to maintain focus and resolve when the odds seem stacked against you. These qualities are forged in the fires of past challenges, built through deliberate self-care, mindfulness practices, and a robust support network. They empower you to confront difficult truths, make unpopular decisions, and withstand the inevitable criticisms that accompany bold moves. Without this inner strength, the external pressures will inevitably erode your capacity for sound judgment. It's about building an unshakable inner core. The OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, act, a concept originally developed for military combat, offers a powerful mental model for navigating high-pressure scenarios in business. It emphasizes the continuous, rapid cycling through these 4 stages, allowing for agile adaptation to dynamic environments. Observe involves gathering data about the situation. Orient is about making sense of that data, filtering it through your experience and mental models. Decide is formulating a hypothesis and choosing a course of action, and act is executing that decision. The speed and accuracy with which you can cycle through this loop directly correlate with your effectiveness under pressure. Constantly refining your orientation phase, which is heavily influenced by your experience and understanding of the context, is critical for making better, faster decisions. This framework provides a structured approach to maintaining momentum and control in chaotic situations. It is a dynamic, iterative process, not a linear one. Recognizing and actively combating cognitive biases becomes acutely important when decisions are made under pressure, as stress can amplify these mental shortcuts, leading to flawed judgments. Biases like confirmation bias, where we seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs, or anchoring bias, where we rely too heavily on the first piece of information offered, can be particularly insidious. Proactive strategies include deliberately seeking out dissenting opinions, performing pre-mortems as discussed, and systematically challenging your own assumptions. Creating a culture within your team that encourages critical thinking and open debate rather than groupthink is also vital. The objective is to construct a decision-making environment that is as bias-resistant as possible, ensuring that choices are based on objective reality rather than subconscious distortions. This rigorous self-scrutiny is a hallmark of truly evolved decision-makers. It's about building a robust filter against mental shortcuts. The value of comprehensive scenario planning cannot be overstated when preparing for high-pressure decisions. This involves envisioning a range of plausible futures, from optimistic to pessimistic, and developing preliminary strategies for each. While you cannot predict the future with perfect accuracy, systematically exploring potential eventualities allows you to anticipate challenges, identify critical decision points, and preload your responses. When a crisis does strike, you're not starting from scratch. You have a mental framework and perhaps even pre-vetted options that can be rapidly adapted. This proactive foresight reduces the cognitive load during actual pressure situations, freeing up mental bandwidth for nuanced adjustments rather than fundamental strategizing. Scenario planning transforms uncertainty into a manageable set of possibilities, equipping you with a playbook for various contingencies. It's about preparing your mind for the unpredictable nature of the market. Ultimately, effective decision-making under pressure is a skill, not an innate talent. And like any skill, it improves with deliberate practice, disciplined self-reflection, and continuous learning. It requires a commitment to intellectual rigor, emotional resilience, and strategic foresight. The journey to the $100 mark will present numerous such crucibles, each demanding your best judgment and unwavering resolve. By internalizing these frameworks, from understanding psychological responses to leveraging collective intelligence and practicing scenario planning, you equip yourself with the tools to not only survive these moments, but to thrive within them. This mastery over your decision-making process is a profound competitive advantage, transforming potential obstacles into opportunities for accelerated growth and solidified wealth. It's about forging a mindset that sees pressure not as a threat, but as an essential ingredient for sharpening your strategic acumen. Embrace the challenge, for it is through these trials that true mastery is achieved. Monitoring progress and making course corrections. Setting ambitious targets and meticulously crafting an action plan are foundational steps in the pursuit of ultra-high net worth, yet their efficacy hinges entirely on a subsequent, often underemphasized discipline, relentless monitoring, and strategic course correction. Many aspiring wealth builders fall short not due to a lack of initial vision or effort, but from a failure to dynamically manage their trajectory amidst an ever-shifting economic and competitive landscape. The journey to $100 million is rarely a straight line. It demands a sophisticated, iterative process of assessment, diagnosis, and agile adjustment. Without a robust framework for tracking progress and identifying deviations early, even the most brilliant strategies can slowly drift off course, dissipating momentum and capital. This continuous oversight transforms a static plan into a living, breathing strategy, responsive to real-world conditions and optimized for maximum impact. The inherent volatility of high-stakes ventures means that initial assumptions, no matter how rigorously formed, will inevitably encounter friction and unforeseen variables. Market dynamics shift, competitive landscapes evolve, and internal capabilities may not always align perfectly with projections. True mastery in wealth creation lies not in absolute foresight, but in the capacity for rapid, intelligent adaptation. This isn't about abandoning the core vision, but rather about recalibrating the path to achieve it, ensuring that every resource and effort remains optimally directed. The ability to pivot, refine, or even overhaul elements of your strategy based on objective data is a hallmark of those who ascend to the highest echelons of financial success, distinguishing them from those who rigidly adhere to a plan long past its expiration date. Central to effective monitoring is the identification and meticulous tracking of key performance indicators, KPIs, that are genuinely predictive of long-term success rather than merely descriptive. For a scaling enterprise, these might include customer acquisition cost, lifetime value, gross margin trends, or operational efficiency ratios. In an investment portfolio, it could involve risk-adjusted returns, correlation coefficients, or capital deployment velocity across different asset classes. The challenge lies in discerning which metrics provide actionable insights into the underlying health and momentum of your wealth-generating engines, filtering out the noise of vanity metrics. Establishing a clear line of sight from your strategic objectives to these specific, measurable indicators ensures that your monitoring efforts are always purposeful and highly relevant. Reliance on intuition, while valuable in ideation, becomes a significant liability in performance assessment. Data must be the ultimate arbiter of truth. Objective metrics provide an unfiltered view of reality, stripping away biases, wishful thinking, and anecdotal evidence that can cloud judgment. Implement rigorous data collection methodologies, ensuring accuracy, consistency, and timeliness across all critical operational and financial touchpoints. This commitment to data-driven decision-making empowers you to move beyond subjective interpretations of progress, replacing them with a quantifiable understanding of what is working, what isn't, and, crucially, why. A culture that values empirical evidence over gut feelings fosters a more rational and effective approach to course correction. Establishing a disciplined rhythm for performance reviews is non-negotiable. This isn't about sporadic check-ins, but about embedding a structured cadence into your operational DNA. Daily dashboards might track immediate operational metrics. Weekly reviews could assess short-term project milestones, while monthly deep dives analyze broader financial statements and market trends. Quarterly strategic reviews offer a higher-level perspective, evaluating significant departmental or investment-specific progress against annual goals, leading to comprehensive annual planning and recalibration. Each review cycle, from micro to macro, serves a distinct purpose, ensuring that no deviation, whether minor or significant, goes unaddressed for too long, allowing for proactive intervention rather than reactive damage control. Developing an early warning system is paramount for mitigating strategic drift before it escalates into a crisis. This involves identifying leading indicators, those metrics that signal potential problems well in advance of their impact on lagging indicators like profitability or market share. For instance, a decline in customer engagement rates might precede a drop in sales, or an increase in employee turnover could hint at deeper organizational issues. By proactively monitoring these prognostic indicators, you can detect nascent issues and initiate corrective actions while they are still manageable, preserving capital and momentum. This foresight transforms monitoring from a reactive exercise into a powerful, preventative mechanism. Once a deviation is identified, the immediate impulse might be to implement a quick fix, but true effectiveness demands a rigorous root cause analysis. This involves peeling back layers of symptoms to uncover the fundamental issues driving underperformance. Tools like the 5 Whys or fishbone diagrams can be invaluable in systematically dissecting problems, moving beyond superficial explanations to address the core systemic flaws. Is the issue a strategic misstep, an operational inefficiency, a market shift, or a talent gap? Without accurately diagnosing the root cause, any course correction will likely be a temporary patch, allowing the problem to resurface or manifest in another form. Precision in diagnosis directly translates to efficacy in correction. Course correction is not a monolithic concept. It encompasses a spectrum of responses, from subtle optimization to radical pivoting. Tactical optimization involves fine-tuning existing processes, adjusting resource allocation within a current strategy, or refining messaging to improve conversion rates. A strategic pivot, however, implies a more fundamental shift in direction, often involving a change in target market, business model, or core product offering. Recognizing when to pursue iterative improvements versus when to execute a decisive pivot is a critical leadership competency. The decision hinges on the severity of the deviation, the viability of the current path, and the opportunity cost of not exploring new avenues, always guided by objective data, and a clear-eyed assessment of market realities. Resource reallocation stands as one of the most powerful levers for course correction, demanding a ruthless focus on efficiency and impact. This might involve diverting capital from underperforming projects to those showing greater promise, reassigning top talent to critical initiatives, or divesting from non-core assets. The ultra-wealthy understand that resources are finite, and their optimal deployment is crucial for accelerating growth. This often requires a willingness to make difficult decisions, letting go of investments or initiatives that, despite initial promise, are no longer yielding the desired returns. The courage to reallocate decisively, even when it means admitting a prior strategy was flawed, is a hallmark of sustained success. Cultivating an organizational culture that embraces agility and adaptability is far more impactful than any specific process or tool. This means fostering an environment where experimentation is encouraged, failures are viewed as learning opportunities, and change is perceived as a natural, necessary component of progress, not a threat. Leaders must model this behavior, demonstrating a willingness to challenge their own assumptions and adjust their strategies based on new information. An agile culture powers teams to identify issues and propose solutions proactively, accelerating the feedback loop and ensuring that course corrections are implemented swiftly and effectively across all levels of the enterprise, rather than being dictated from the top down. Beyond internal metrics, implementing robust feedback loops from the external environment, customers, competitors, and the broader market is indispensable. Actively solicit customer feedback, conduct competitive intelligence, and stay attuned to macroeconomic shifts and emerging technological trends. This continuous external scanning provides vital context for internal performance data, helping to validate assumptions or expose blind spots. For instance, strong internal sales figures might seem positive, but if market share is simultaneously eroding due to a disruptive competitor, a course correction is clearly warranted. Integrating these external insights into your review processes ensures that your strategy remains aligned with evolving market demands and competitive pressures. Proactive scenario planning offers a powerful mechanism for anticipating potential deviations and preparing preemptive course corrections. Instead of merely reacting to problems as they arise, this approach involves envisioning various future states: optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely, and developing contingency plans for each. What if a key supplier fails? What if a major regulatory change occurs? What if a new technology disrupts your industry? By stress testing your strategy against these hypothetical challenges, you can identify vulnerabilities and develop robust response protocols. This foresight minimizes the shock of unexpected events, allowing for smoother, more deliberate adjustments rather than frantic reactive measures. Leveraging high-performing teams for decentralized monitoring and reporting significantly amplifies your capacity for oversight and rapid response. Empowering department heads, project managers, and even individual contributors with the responsibility for tracking relevant KPIs and reporting on deviations creates a distributed intelligence network. This involves providing clear guidelines, appropriate tools, and the authority to raise red flags without fear of reprisal. Such delegation not only frees up your own bandwidth for higher-level strategic thinking, but also ensures that issues are identified and addressed at the closest possible point of impact, accelerating the entire course correction cycle and fostering a greater sense of ownership and accountability throughout the organization. Overcoming cognitive biases and inherent resistance to change is a critical, often overlooked aspect of effective course correction. Humans naturally seek confirmation of their beliefs and can be reluctant to admit a strategy is failing, especially if they were its primary architect. This psychological hurdle can delay necessary adjustments, compounding problems. Leaders must cultivate an environment of psychological safety where dissenting opinions are welcomed and data-backed critiques of existing strategies are encouraged. Objectivity requires a conscious effort to challenge personal assumptions and biases, embracing the discomfort of change in service of long-term strategic advantage. The ability to detach emotionally from a failing plan is a hallmark of exceptional leadership. Ultimately, monitoring progress and making course corrections is not a discrete task, but an embedded philosophy, a continuous improvement culture that permeates every aspect of your wealth building enterprise. It's about instilling a mindset of relentless optimization, where every outcome, whether successful or challenging, becomes a data point for learning and refinement. This iterative cycle of planning, executing, monitoring, and adapting is the engine that drives sustained growth and resilience, ensuring that your journey towards $100 million remains dynamic, responsive, and ultimately PPA-able. Embracing this continuous feedback loop transforms your operations into a perpetual motion machine, constantly evolving towards peak performance and maximizing your potential for generational wealth creation.